Hey y'all, welcome to the post-sermon chat. Kara, Andrew, Paul, thank y'all for leading worship. And I like what you did there in your prayer using the word grafted. Kind of went in with the whole gardener, vineyard thing. Good, I caught it. Oh, listen, I'm glad y'all are joining us for the post-sermon chat. We are here to answer questions that you may have about the sermon. I do want to talk a little bit more about what it means to live life with Jesus. What I would love for you to do is, if you're staying for the post-sermon chat, let me know that you're here. Just kind of post your name so I can see that you're here. I'd love to say hi to you as those are coming in. If you have questions, you can post it there, and we will answer them. I will answer them to the best of my ability. So this idea of living with Jesus, even this whole Thrive angle thing, I'm really excited about it as we talk about discipleship and as we've talked through discipleship for years here at Fellowship, even in my own experience, to kind of be able to whittle that down to something that is simple and something that is memorable. And I hope that's what happens. But this idea of living with Jesus, I think it's why it's the top of the triangle. I think it's the most paramount part of discipleship that we can learn in our spiritual growth, is that we walk with Jesus, letting him come with us and following him. I think that's so crucial. Let me go ahead and say hi to some folks that are joining in. Scott Douglas is here. Hey, Scott. Hope you're well. Hope the coffee was good. The Flaglers are here. The Meadows are here. Cranfords, Hinches, Vernon's, Hillary. I don't know your last name, but Hillary, glad you're here. Victoria Calvert is here. Victoria, I did see on the comment that your daughter made. Let your child know that sometimes I'm shocked by how much I talk to. It's fine. Let's see. Trish Lancaster. Hey, Trish. Y'all, I just recorded Trish Lancaster's interview for the ConvoCast. It'll come out here probably in a couple of months, but I'm just going to let you know it was a great time. Wasn't it, Trish? It was so fun. The Blankenships are here. Andrew Neighbors here. Good morning. From Facebook, we've got the Pettits are here. The Buckners. Lena and Scott are here. Alyssa's here. Hello. Corky. The Wilcoxes. The Vogels. The Angie Cannon. Hello. Blaine and Christine are here. The Monstrolas. The Metcalfs. The Kuntzes. So glad that y'all are all here. The Bridges are here. Mary Massey's here. So glad that y'all are here. What questions do y'all have on what it means to live life with Jesus? In particular, anybody resonate with that deal too? The difference between living life for Jesus and living life with Jesus, and that the difference between those two. We can talk about that. We can talk about anything you want. Ask questions here. The Perrys are here. Vince, BJ, and Miles are here. Hello, hello, hello. The Rosses are here. The Carpenters are here. The Alls are here. So great to have y'all. What questions do you have? Let's see. Brian Flagler says, I would prefer, and I'm going to go ahead and read the comments that come up, because depending on which platform you're on, you may not see them. But Brian Flagler said, I would prefer we could meet in person, but I find watching live, engaging in the chat, and singing along with worship helps me feel much more connected to our church. Brian, I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. I miss y'all. I miss everyone being here. And y'all, there will be a day where this room will be full of people again. And I know that, and I believe that, and I have great hope in what God is doing to allow that to happen. I think Jesus wants his people to gather together, and I don't think, I think this is a season. This isn't a declaration, it is just a season. And so we will get through this season with Jesus, but I want you to know, as your pastor, gosh, I miss y'all. I miss being in this room and looking in those familiar faces and seeing those familiar places and seeing those familiar faces. I miss it. And so I look forward to the day we can do it again. Micah's here. Hey, Micah, how you doing? I'm glad y'all are on the mend. 4 connotes transaction. This is what Scott Douglas says. He says 4 connotes transaction with a relationship. Very good observation. Let's see, what are we getting on Facebook? Let's see. Elisa says Thrive Angle. So you like the Thrive Angle, Thrive Angle, Thrive Angle, Thrive Angle? Let's see, the Rosses, awesome message, Fred, really thinking about the with and for us. Great, I'm glad. It has really helped me even form the work that I do, to be working with Jesus instead of for Jesus. And that's one of the things that I've noticed is when I'm with Jesus, things just take longer, right? Jesus' pace is much different than my pace. Oddly enough, some of the things that I'm uncomfortable with come faster, and the things that I am comfortable with come slower. Figure that out. But walking with Jesus, time is just different in Jesus's way of life than it is in mine. Let's see. Brian Flagler says, yes, I feel the difference between living with and for Jesus. I love the analogy to the boss you work for versus work with. Yes. John and Jackie Perry say the with and for Jesus reminds me of how Mary and Martha interacted with Jesus. Mary was with, Martha was for. Yeah, it's a great picture there. Absolutely. Let's see, what else do we have over here on Facebook? The Buckners say, we miss everyone too. Corky says, I never really thought about words living for or with Jesus. With speaks more to relationship than the other. Yeah, it does. The Vernons, you saying that the pews will be filled reminds me of the men that prayed at the old church for the pews to be filled with faith and hope, the faith and hope that man had. Yeah, what faith and hope that man had. Yep, and they were. What I love about the story, what Patrick is referring to is the church that gave us this building. They had a guy that would come in, and he would pray over every pew for those pews to be filled with people. And for the halls to have the sound of kids' feet running down it. And as we walk through this process of them leaving a legacy in many ways of giving us this building and allowing us to carry on the ministry that they started in 1891 is when the church that owned this building, when they started doing ministry here in Asheville, and we get to carry that on. He said when our first Sunday here with our church, all their prayers were answered in one day. They had been praying for decades, and God answered them on that first day, which was really, really cool. Let's see, what have we got from Facebook or the church online? Brian Flagler says, I enjoyed the book, The Cure, which draws a similar distinction. We are tempted to live to please God, trying to earn his grace when he really wants us to trust him. Yes, Brian, that's such a great way to think about it, because it is, like, there are so many times when I've been preaching. Somebody told me this, that preaching is declaring a universal truth in a unique way. And I feel like every time that I preach, that's what God is saying, is he's asking us, will we trust him? Will we trust him more? Will we walk in more faith? And honestly, I keep wondering how many ways I can say that, but God keeps giving creative ways and great scriptures to walk through that. And so yes, he's asking us to trust him, and in trusting him, he experiences great pleasure, like anybody does. When the plant that we've planted grows and bears fruit and all of that, like, we feel pleasure in that. God feels pleasure in our trusting him. Let's see, the difference between, this is Carol Kuntz on Facebook, the difference between living for Jesus and living with and abiding in Jesus is relationship with him and resting in his completed work of grace and reconciliation to him. Yes, absolutely. Corky says, wow, what a cool story in reference to praying for the seats. Yeah. Bruce loved the explanation. Bruce Piquet loved the explanation of the vine being lifted up out of the mud so it can thrive. Yeah, isn't that neat to think that God does that? I was talking to somebody this week, and they were talking about past relationships that they were in, and how when they were in those relationships, man, they thought they were great, and how God took him out of those relationships and put him in a different relationship. And now when he's in this current relationship, looking back at those relationships, he can see them for what they were, bad relationships, because God gave him this really good, solid one. And it is a good, solid one. All right, any other questions or comments? I see that Billy and Julie Mitchell were watching. Hey, y'all. Glad y'all are here. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. I will talk to you real quick while some questions are coming in. Discovery tonight. Amy, is it at 6:30? Yeah. If you want to join us for Discovery tonight, it's from 6:30 to 7:30, and we try and be very good about just being in that hour time frame. You can go to our website, sign up. We'll send you the Zoom link. We would love to have you. And Discovery is just an opportunity to get to know more about who we are as a church and more about our mission, vision, and values, and to hear some of the really cool stories of what God is doing and has done in and through this church. So if you're new to fellowship and want to check it out, join us for Discovery tonight. Let's see if there are questions. Let's see, Fred, when do you most feel you are living and walking with Jesus? Okay, it's a great question. For me, it is times where I am the most uncomfortable and being stretched, like this whole pandemic thing. I feel like I know Jesus better today than I did a year ago from today. Because going through crisis, I have leaned in on, I have been much more intentional about being with Jesus during this time, even than I was before. And so because of that, I feel like I know his voice better. I know his heart better. I know who he is as a person better. And it has helped me. So I find that I'm living with Jesus more when the world outside of me is much more uncomfortable. When I am comfortable, I find that it's much more easy for me to gravitate toward doing life and my relationship with God on my own. Let's see, Megan Carpenter, I wonder often if the seasons are intended to be opportunities for us to get back with being with Jesus. I find myself working for Jesus in the winter a lot, and when we are in periods of stress. I love this message is because it explains the process of how God has getting me back into being in relationship with him. Yes, Megan, I'm the same way. Like it is easier for me to slow down and to consciously be with Jesus when I'm outside. And when I'm walking and when I'm hiking. We were watching Lord of the Rings over the past few weeks. And there's this scene where you got the big tree guy, whose name I can't remember. I remember he's an Ent, but I can't remember his name. Treebeard, I think. Yes, Treebeard. And he is talking about Sauron, right? Is that the wizard? Because Sauron is the eye. Saruman, no. Do I have them reversed? Sauron is the eye, right? Yes, and Saruman is the wizard. Whew. But this tree says that Saruman used to walk in the woods. And now he doesn't because he's in league with evil. And so he doesn't feel like he needs that time. For me, that time walking in the woods and going for a hike and just getting outside helps me slow down and kind of surrender my to-do list to Jesus. So I'm with you there, Megan. Let's see, Trish says a simple prayer that helps me to live with Jesus versus working for Jesus is your way, your day, Lord. It's a very simple prayer. Love it. I pray this early as I can in my day, even before getting out of bed, if I remember. That is a great time to do it. Let's see, Kelly Cranford, I don't always feel that I am living with Jesus. However, he has reminded me that he is with me constantly. Yes, that's the great thing, right? Kelly, is that even when we're not with Jesus, he's always with us. And so to shift to being with Jesus can be like that because he hasn't gone anywhere. And so we can get back with him super easy. All right. I do see a little chatter on Facebook. Apparently, Jared, did an angry face and didn't mean to. That's okay. That happens all the time. You've got these little emojis and thumbs, and that happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Let's see if we've got any other questions. Pruning at the time hurts a bit. Just saying. Sanctification is a much bigger work than I can realize in the day-to-day. Yes. Because it does talk about Jesus said, those who bear fruit, the gardener prunes. And we're going to talk a little bit about that next week when we look at In God's Word, that God's Word is our pruning. But here's what I know about Jesus. When he prunes me, it is still with grace and with mercy and with everything that he is. There is justice there, there is holiness there, but it is good, right? And it's not this cutting me off and throwing me out. It is making me better. It's an opportunity for me to live my life with God better and to live my life better. And so as I've gotten to know Jesus even better during this time, there's still been pruning that goes on, but that pruning has been really good and worth it, and I'm super thankful for it. All right, anything else? All right, if there aren't any more questions, we'll go ahead and shut down. And don't forget, tonight, FSM is at 6. Discovery is at 6:30. Both of those are via Zoom tonight. And then we have the elder-led prayer night, not this week, but next week on Tuesday night. So go ahead and register for that. Get the Zoom link and join us in praying through what God is doing in and through this church. Y'all, I love you. Thank you for letting me do what I get to do and be who God has asked me to be, because that's huge. Absolutely huge. So thank you. I love you, and I love being in the church with you, and I will see you soon. Bye, y'all.